Okay, this is going to be a little guide on how to install some Technostalgia LED taillights. Here are the stock taillights. They've been darkened, and I'm going to darken the LED taillights as well. And I'll also go through the process on how to darken them properly so that you can come out with a good finish. When you order your lights, you'll get a few sheets of paper. One talks about the warranty, and then the last two are going to be some detailed instructions on how to install them, but this video is just going to be for those of you that can see it in action. It's easier for you to learn by seeing it actually happen than looking at these pictures, but for the most part they look fairly detailed. And here are the actual taillights, all four right there. They got some extra wiring. It's going to have to go in. You can see there, LEDs inside with the afterburners in there also. The only tools you should need in removing the old taillights should be a screwdriver to get these caps off, and to help with tabs for the bezels to come off. There's 4 tabs on each bezel, which are very difficult to get off if you haven't done it many times before. And I'm going to be tinting my taillights, so I got a brand new can of nightshade, and every time I take my bezels off, because they're so hard to get to, I repaint them just so that I don't have any issues. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is take your screwdriver, slip it underneath the tab here, and lift up on it, and they should pop right out. And to save those, because I already lost one. The second piece should come out. Sometimes they'll come out all at once, sometimes not. And then this whole plastic piece should lift out of place, and now you have access to your bezel. The next step is to take your screwdriver to get down in here. There's 2 tabs on the top of each bezel, 2 on the bottom here. There's 2 on the top right here, 1 over here, and 1 at the bottom here. And once you get those tabs nice and pressed down and squeezed out, which does take a little bit and a lot of patience, they just slide right out of place. There's 1. There's 2. Now that frees up your tail lights. There's now 3 little bolts on the back of each tail light that need to be unscrewed. Now once you get all 3 screws on each one undone, you simply twist the actual tail light fixture on the back of the housing. Once you do that, it's freed up and each tail light slides right out. There you have it. That's what the car looks like, no tail lights. Now what you want to do is, while you have your tail lights out, you want to go through here and clean up where the housings will be, because who knows when you're going to be back there next, and you want it to be as clean as possible. Okay, the next 2 parts are obviously going to be optional, but I never was a fan of the bezels when they were the chrome color, so I painted them this flat black color. And since I had to take them off to do the tail lights, I'm just going to go ahead and put another layer of paint on there, just to give it that much more of a extra coating. But if you want to paint your bezels, once you get them off, all you really do is sand them down real good, and run them underneath some water, let them dry, and then wipe them off. And make sure everything's clean and everything's dry, and there's no leftover grit from the sanding on there. And then pretty much just go evenly and slowly. Okay, I've decided I'm going to try to hold the camera in one hand and do this with the other hand. Hope this doesn't hurt, but here we go. And that'll just be the first coat there. Okay, here's one of the lights, all tinted. It's about as dark as I want it, just a little bit of red still shining through. Plenty where when the lights come on, they'll be able to shine through easily. But definitely a lot darker than they were. So basically what you do now, I think, is, I'm going to do this with one hand here. This part is going to connect to one of these. And there's two on each one, obviously, because there's two tail lights. And this has some 3M tape on it that you're going to stick. You're going to stick it right there, so it's fairly close to the tail lights. And there's another part that barely sticks out of the back of the tail light, which wasn't too clearly explained in the instructions, but luckily it's fairly obvious. You're going to take the bulb, obviously, that came with the car out of the outlet and plug this into it. This plugs into that, and then this plugs into the extra pieces provided for you. And after that, it should be fairly simple. So we're going to try that now. Well, all that work, and it turns out I actually got the wrong ones. The ones I ordered were supposed to have the sequential turn built in, as well as the rapid fire effect, but these don't. So I will be putting these up for sale, and since I put them in, I have already ordered the new ones, so hopefully they'll be here in a couple days. But it sucks. I was really looking forward to that, but now you know how to install the lights. It's not that difficult and only took about an hour to do.